You know what's interesting about you, man, is you look so youthful, right?
Thank you.
You look like you haven't aged. But then
I definitely have.
Yeah, of course.
Mhm.
But several years ago, man, you were diagnosed with MS, multiple sclerosis. How did you get diagnosed with that? Like, what caused you to go to the doctor to?
Yeah, I was diagnosed in 2000,
Right.
so 16 years ago.
Did you? What was it? What did you feel? What?
I had a one day I just had like a numbness in like one of my feet. Like, you know how your foot falls asleep?
Right.
But it like lasted like all day.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day it was in the other foot, and then it was like moving. So I thought that was kind of odd. I went to the doctor or whatever. They was like, you know, I don't even know what they said it was, but they kind of brushed it off as whatever. This was like in like 99 or something. And then a few months later, I'm taking a shower, hot shower, whatever, and then my the vision in one of my eyes like just got mad blurry. Like somebody poked me in the eye. So I'm looking out of one eye is fine, the other side is just mad blurry. So then I go to the doctor again, and I tell him about the past symptoms and all of this. So now they start running all these tests. They gave me a spinal tap and an MRI.
How painful was that, man?
The worst shit ever. Don't that shit is the worst shit ever. Well, it wasn't. I mean, tears,
Right.
tears came to my eyes. Wasn't nice, but it was from the MRI and the spinal tap that they figured out what it was. So I was diagnosed in 2000, and then that was really when I made a conscious decision to take control of my life and my career and everything that I was doing. And I wanted to be more proactive in taking care of myself, prolonging my quality of life over the course of my life. And so that's what I've been doing. And I've made the best music after the diagnosis.
Right.
I made my best music after that, and
when that inspired you to make Disposable Arts.
It did, and because I thought that might be my last record, so I put my all into that record.
At that point when you were diagnosed, was it presented to you like this is life threatening?
No, it wasn't life threatening, but it was quality of life threatening.
Right.
Because all I knew about MS was that people that had it were in wheelchairs or like, walking with canes or barely walking, or some went blind. All those kinds of things I'm hearing. So
how did that not happen to you? Because I know people with MS, and they are visibly affected by by that.
The only thing I can attribute it to is a positive attitude. I changed my diet dramatically.
What did you change?
A lot. I eliminated all the white foods from my diet.
Like at all?
White pasta, white rice, white sugar.
Right.
Everything white, eliminated. I started exercising, and this is all like within the last, more intensely in the last probably 6 years or so.
Right.
I just have become more and more physical, and continuing to introduce foods into my life that are considered, the superfoods they talk about. They talk about quinoa. They talk about, hemp seeds, things like that. I try to introduce, every time I hear about a new superfood, I try it out. Right. If I like it, I include it in my diet. All these things have made a difference, I think.
And what do you still, I mean, MS doesn't go away.
No. So there's no cure.
Right, but do you still feel it, or is it so minimized right now?
The only thing that I have in terms of symptoms is my fingertips. So my fingertips, I don't have full feeling in my hands. So I'll drop stuff sometimes, never drop that mic though. But, I lose, feeling in my hands. I switch hands with the mic a lot.
Right.
Just because I need to know that it's there. But if you told me like to hold that pen that you're holding.
Right.
If you told me to hold that pen and you turn the lights out, probably within a minute, I would drop the pen because I don't feel it in my hand. I don't know that I actually have it between my fingers.
Right.
So just little stuff like that. Like I can't reach in my pocket and find a quarter. I got to grab all the change and pull it out and go, okay, there's the quarter.
Right.
You know what I mean? So those are such small things.
Right. It doesn't affect the quality of your life, like you said.
No, it's little stuff, man. It's little stuff.
You know, you've said that you feel that one of the big contributors to you catching or getting MS is your prior diet.
Yeah, I definitely think that I ate a lot of the wrong stuff in my life. You know, we didn't know anything about GMO foods and things of that nature.
Watch out for that popcorn, yo.
Yeah, corn period.
Yeah.
You know, you know, the United States produces so much genetically mutated corn, and it's in everything. Like they
high fructose corn syrup.
They make high fructose corn syrup with it, and they put it in everything.
Right.
It's in peanut butter, like it's in Skippy peanut butter, like it's in everything. It's in stuff that ain't supposed to even be sweet.
Right.
So it's just like for me, it's like just trying to avoid. High fructose corn syrup was one of the targeted things on my diet. If I would read the ingredients to everything. If that was in there, I ain't mess with it. If it said corn syrup of any kind, I didn't mess with it.
You know what the jig is, man? Like, my kids put me up on this first. I sent my kids to Paris a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And they came back and they were like, Dad, in France, they don't allow high fructose corn syrup in their foods.
That's right.
I just came back from London. There's no high fructose corn syrup. Like, I spent the whole week in London wilding out with food. Like, wilding out. Like, just, you know, everything over there is starchy.
Yeah.
I didn't gain a pound.
Different.
I didn't gain a pound when I got back. I was like, get the fuck out. I got on the scale. I was like, I thought I was going to be like 10 pounds. I didn't gain a pound.
It's different
so
food.
It's crazy how the American government, the organization that we entrust.
Yes. They allow these foods
to be safe. The foods that they give their thumbs up to, the FDA is fucking
they feed us
poisoning us
they feed us
to
poison.
Get into that fucking pharmaceutical circus.
That's right. They want that money.
They want that money.
They want more people. They want as many people to get diabetes as possible.
Yes.
Because that's payoff. That's pay.
Yes.
That's pay for that.
If you want, I mean, I know that you've talked about your multiple sclerosis diagnosis.
Yeah.
I don't know what there is to say though about it, other than like, if it has affected the reasons that you work.
It definitely had an effect. I was diagnosed in 2000, so it kind of put things into perspective, career-wise, life-wise. Didn't know what, my long-term health was going to be like, and decided that if I was going to leave the game, I wanted to leave on my own terms. I didn't want to leave with, my hometown saying I was a West Coast sellout and that I did it. I was actually, making excuses for why Born to Roll blew up and did what it did, why Sitting on Chrome was getting played in LA and INC Ride. And it took me a minute to realize that, I didn't need to make an excuse for success of a record. Like wherever they were going to like the record, that's what it was. New York caught up way late. I think, Flex started playing it like almost a year after it had already blown up in all of these other markets. He started playing some of the songs, but I just decided, with that diagnosis, that I wanted to go out on my own terms. I rededicated myself to the craft in a different way, and I made my best music, I feel, after that diagnosis. I started coaching football, high school football after that. I wanted to that was something I had been thinking about for a really long time, but didn't think I would ever do it. That diagnosis made me want to go out and do that, give back to young people. Did that for 9 years, actually 11 years, 9 years in Brooklyn, 2 years in Jersey. But yeah, that and the diagnosis has changed my life in terms of my commitment to fitness and health. I go to the gym 3 to 4 times a week. I run now, which I never thought I would ever run again.
I feel very shamed by your Twitter when you're like waking up early.
Oh, yo, I mean, that's, when you get that kind of news, you either go in the tank or you change the way you think and do something different. I started eating very, very different, and, I'm definitely one of the only people in my circle that eat the way I eat, but they respect the fact that I'm doing it for a reason. I try not to preach. Mm-hmm. I can be annoying at times when I see guys, getting McDonald's and French fries and all of that. I try not to say anything and let dudes live their lives, because I know it could be annoying. But food food. I feel like food is the reason that I have what I have, what I've eaten in my life. And so I'm just trying to change what I put in my body. I've been doing it for the last 10 years, little by little.
Wow. Yeah, I started drinking a lot more water, and I think it's made all the difference.
Got to drink water.
Totally chilled everything out.
There was a point where I couldn't drink water with a meal.
Yeah, I know.
Like, it was like, ew.
Totally.
I can't drink water. Give me some sweet. Like, but that's all about just changing your taste buds.
Right.
You do that, you fast for a while, and you'll completely change your taste buds and your desire for stuff. I know Ali could talk about eating well all day long.
I know. People always are like, Frannie, why does Ali still look so good? Like, why does Sadiq look so good? And I was like, why the fuck do you think they look so good? They take care of themselves.
So it's about...
Yeah, that's true, but I have to admit, I have a really bad liking for chocolate. So,
but chocolate's good for you.
It is good for you,
dark
but,
chocolate.
You know,
right.
It could be excessive in my case at different points in time, depending on, like, how disciplined I am, but yeah. But, you know, last time I saw you, Ace, you looked crazy young, too. So whatever you're doing, it's working.
Thank you, man. Thank you. It's definitely my diet. You know, I can't help but look at some of my peers that we're close to the same age. And know that they lived very, very hard. Like, we all in the 90s and, you know, was wilding out. Everybody was, you know, staying up till 4, 5, 6 in the morning, mad girls, going to get some diner food, getting a steak and whatever, and eating wild, crazy, you know, whatever was open, you was eating that. White Castle, whatever. And getting 3 hours of sleep, and then just being right back on the grind of just being in the streets, and that stuff, and not to mention the alcohol. I mean, I never was into drugs and all of that, but weed, I wasn't into none of that. But, you know, the drinking, that stuff takes a toll on you when you're doing it for 20 years. If you do it for 20 years, like, you can't be in your 40s and behaving the way you behaved when you were in your 20s. It's just not going to work. And it's going to show on your face, in your body, in your gut. You know, the battle with the gut at 40 is real. It's real.
It is.
I look in the mirror every day like, okay, I gotta, that alone, just looking in the mirror, I go, okay, going to the gym today. Can't lose this battle. I refuse.